Hey there, welcome back. So I finished the next arc of One Piece, and if One Piece is going to stick in my mind for one thing specifically, besides the emotional trauma, it is going to be the tonal whiplash I get before the emotional trauma, because I was not expecting this from this arc. It was cute, it was funny, it was wholesome, it was just adorable. I thought, okay, we're at another slow, fun, world-building arc without the heartbreak that Oda has inflicted upon me in the past. And then the last couple chapters happen, and oh my god. Okay, so we're going to start with the happy, fun stuff. We have left Thriller Bark, and there are these ominous eyes in the mist. Do I know what those are? I'm leaning towards Sea Monster, because ocean, but I have no idea. The group is sailing along, and they reach the red line, and they're not sure how to cross it. So this is a physical barrier. I was a little confused on what the red line was. I probably should have been paying a little bit more attention in my note-taking for that. I kind of thought it was like a red sea, a red current, but no. Physical land barrier cutting them off from the Grand Line here and the New World. And so they need to find a way to cross it. And Fishman Island is apparently how they're going to get through, but it's below sea level and they're not sure how to get there. A little later on, we learn that Fishman Island is the same level down as Sky Island was up. Is that relevant? I do not know. The group end up fighting a sea monster and saving a mermaid, Cammy. So we meet a lovely mermaid. I'm very excited. I like her design. She's very cute. And they made a new friend, it's wonderful, only to find out that her friend, Hachi, has been taken captive by these flying fish riders who, I don't remember if they specifically were selling fish people into human trafficking, probably. But anywho, she convinces the group to go save them, in no small part because Hachi here is a chef, and he makes the best octa fish fried. Forget the name of the food, but Luffy's like, yeah, I need to try that. I want to eat it. So they go off to save him. And of course, us as the reader is aware that this Hachi is the same octopus fish man that was in Arlong's group and had traumatized Nami and her backstory. I really like how he was set up. So we already know that how he met Cammy from the cover pages. They've come back into play now that Hachi is once again in the story, and it's not just like he came out of nowhere. So I appreciate that setup there with the cover chapters. And I really like how he was more terrified of how Nami and the other Straw Hats were going to react to seeing him. So he was trying to get out before they could come rescue him, because he's like, I don't want to fight them. So when the Straw Hats show up, they see Hachi. He's covered himself in ink because, hey, maybe they won't recognize me. But of course they recognize the voice. Nami, cold, she's like, yeah, that's him. And they're like, no, we're not saving him. He's not our friend. We are not having any part in this. You can keep him. But Cammy's just like, how dare you? You said you would help me. So she goes over and she's trying to save him, but then she's getting captured. And they're like, well, she's our friend. Nami, what do you think? And Nami's like, yeah, we have to save Cammy. And I guess we're saving Hachi as well. I personally would have liked a little bit more of Hachi having to redeem himself. And he did apologize to Nami. I just would have liked a bigger deal be made out of it. Just a little bit more on that end. But it does fit the Straw Hat crew of he was apologetic. It's kind of, I don't feel like he was the one in the crew that was hurting Nami, because he does acknowledge what Arlong did was wrong. How could she forgive him? So I don't think he was the worst of the crew. So Nami forgiving him quickly. Well, even when after they save him, Nami says, this doesn't mean I forgive you, but yes, your cooking's good. So it's fine. It's fine. I like seeing them fight together. It was all really well done. The leader of this group of flying fish riders is like a man in an iron helmet. And of course, I'm thinking it's someone like Don Creed or something like that. As soon as he said, I need revenge on this man, and we find out this man is Sanji, I was thinking Don Creed or something like that, even though Luffy had just as much impact on him. But no, it's not Don Creed. Krieg. So what it is when the helmet's revealed, it's a stupid joke that I loved, where his face is just like the drawing of Sanji's wanted poster. So he has been being targeted by the government and bounty hunters, thinking that he's Sanji and that's his bounty on there. So he's had to hide his face. He's like, I wasn't even a pirate. I had no part in this. You've ruined my life. I want revenge on you. And he can't take Sanji in a fight. So Buddy loses. But at one point in time, Sanji gets caught in a net and he's going down into the water and they're going to drown him. So Hachi said, I'll go. I'm faster than you humans can swim. But the guy's just like, yeah, but nothing. You're not faster than the flying fish that we have. And this little starfish who's friends with the mermaid Cammy is just like, yeah, the flying fish are one of the top-ranked speed whatever creatures of the ocean, above even the fish people. But do you know what's at the top of that list of fastest creatures in the sea? Mermaids. And Cammy goes down and she saves Sanji, brings him back up, and it's all well and good. Sanji gets one good kick into Buddy's face, and it rearranges the bone structure to make him attractive again. Just like the Buddy from Water 7 on the train. So I kind of like that for Sanji. If that becomes just a running gag for him, I'm kind of okay with that. So we get back to the Thousand Sunny. I was about to call it the Mary. I'm still upset about that. We get back to the Sunny and eating the food. Everyone's happy. And Hachi says he's happy to tell them how to get to Fishman Island and cross the red line. But they're going to need to go to this other island to get the boat coated so it can go underwater and go on. So they go to this island, and Hachi's made them promise that they cannot get involved or attack any of the celestial dragons. Not actual dragons, which is disappointing. No matter what. Can't get involved, can't attack. Doesn't matter if you see someone getting killed in front of you, you cannot get involved. Because if you go after these guys, you're bringing the entire Navy down on you because the Navy headquarters is right there. So they go to this wonderful, lovely, adorable little island, and there's just bubbles everywhere. The bike has a bubble on it. So you need a bag, you use a bubble. Everything floats. It's cute. It's adorable. They're going about their time. I'm just like, yeah, the cute little, wholesome little chapters. It must be the next arc that people on the comment section of YouTube must be referring to for the things that must going to be happening soon. And then boom, tonal shift, human trafficking. There's a man getting murdered. There's the slave trade. The government is turning a blind eye to all of it willingly. They know, but they don't care. So these noble lord people, the celestial dragons, are ancestors or descendants from like 20 original kings who came together to make the world government in the first place 800 years ago. That coincidentally is around the same time as that blank year in that Robin's looking into. And they introduce one of them as this guy. He's riding a person as if they were a horse. They're wearing like a bubble on their head so they don't breathe the same air as people. And as he's walking down, everyone has to stop and bow to him. And what happens when this medical team is running through and they apologize, like, I'm sorry, Lord, we can't stop. We're trying to get this man to the hospital, but forgive us. He shoots them. And then is just like, hey, that nurse is really hot. I'm going to take her to be like my 13th or 15th, whatever the hell, wife. But I'm bored with the first 5, so you can send them away. I'm just going to take this one. And she's like, no, please, leave me alone. Her fiance is right there. It's like, no, she's engaged to me. You can't take her, please. So then they shoot the fiance and start to drag her away. That is how you get me to hate somebody quickly. Zoro shows up, and in my new favorite Zoro scene, he's just like, what's everyone looking at? You need directions or something? And I love that. So I am waiting for Zoro here to kill this man and probably start a war, but I want to see this man die. So the guy pulls a gun on Zoro, shoots him. Zoro easily dodges it, but before he can slice him through, another pirate tackles him to the ground and fakes like his death kind of thing. Like, oh no, he's dead. You shot and killed him. Because if you had hurt this noble in any way, an admiral himself would come down on this island and kill everybody. Like, the world government is very bent on protecting these nobles. I'm going to assume that because these nobles are ancestors and descendants from the original people who made the government, that they know the truth about the blank period and are blackmailing the current navy and government to protect them, is my current assumption. Luffy is completely pissed elsewhere on the island because he just witnessed a man get killed for trying to escape. He was a former pirate, has been sold into the apparently legal slave trade, human trafficking of this island / world that the government doesn't care about. And when he was trying to leave, they detonated the collar around him and killed him. And Hachi had prevented Luffy from retaliating. And then at some point in time, they end up going to a carnival, and Cammy, our wonderful little mermaid, who has been hiding her identity as a mermaid, as well as Hachi hiding himself from being anyone knowing he's a fish person, she gets kidnapped because mermaids and fish people go for a very high price in this human trafficking ring that we got going on. Because that's wonderful. We're throwing racism into the One Piece world. I'm not complaining about anything of this. I really am loving the depth to the world and exploration of all the different cultures and how they relate to each other. I'm enjoying that. I'm just angry that I guess the government allows it to exist, but we've established that the government are not good people here. So anyhow, Luffy is hell-bent on saving Cammy, and he calls in the Flying Fish Riders to help track down who took her. They figure out she's at this auction house, and Nami is ready to spend all their money, every single berry of it, the 200 million that they have, to buy her back, because they can't attack without risking the government coming down on them. But before they even get a chance, sidestepping that 1 second, we're also introduced to all the other pirates on this island with similar bounties to Luffy and Zoro, one of which even has a higher bounty than him because he's been attacking random innocent civilians. So they're all really cool. Apparently they just took different paths on the Grand Line, and they've all come here and they're going to the New World. My top two are, I think it's like Hawkins. I like his design, and he's talking about fate, and I don't know, kind of like a Destiny vibe. I think he got some tarot cards. I'm interested to see what the hell's with that. I don't even know if he's alive at the end of this chapter because, at the end of this arc, because he got really beaten up near the end. I hope he's okay. And then there's La, who I'm quite certain will become a big deal just because I've seen a lot of people cosplay him on TikTok. And I really like his hat and his tattoos, so like that character design as well. Alright, so Nami's ready to place her bid to buy Cammy back, save her, but the jerk from earlier shows up and he bids $500 million on this mermaid for the hell of it, and is apparently going to put her in with a bunch of piranhas because they'll be friends or they'll eat her. And so they don't know what to do. What the hell? How can they save Cammy? And then Luffy shows up, and Hachi has like charged to try to get to Cammy, but Hachi gets shot after everyone's screaming at him, saying it's a fish person. How dare it show up here? It probably has diseases. Get away from me. He's so ugly and gross looking. Not subtle in its racism. So he's gotten shot by one of the nobles, and the noble guy's all happy about this, as if he just like shot some kind of dangerous creature and gonna mount it. I don't know what the hell he's going to do. Luffy, Monky D Luffy, who just witnessed his friends being taken, and now his new friend that he has forgiven and accepts as his friend Hachi being shot, responds accordingly. So he marches up on this noble. Everyone's just like, what's he doing? He's not going to attack him. There's no possible way he is stupid enough to punch a celestial dragon in the face. So what Luffy does is he punches the celestial dragon in his face. And then he looks up at his crew, this little smirk and is just like, sorry guys, I guess I called down an admiral on us. He is not sorry at all. And the crew's just like, well, what can you do? It's Luffy. Chaos breaks out. They need to find a way to get Cammy without that collar exploding on her. And the guards and everyone is trying to take them. They're outnumbered, not quite sure how they're going to handle this. And then this man from earlier comes out from behind the stage. And everyone just drops. The same way that Shanks had done on Whitebeard's ship. I'm assuming this kind of hockey just like knocks everybody out. And this man is able to get the collar off Cammy without the keys, and it's all well and good. So he's going to help them escape, but there's a bunch of like Navy fodder people out front, so it's up to Luffy, as well as our two other new pirates, La and Kid, to take out these other Navy officers. And we're shown the other two's power. I don't think I understand it. Kid is like accumulating everything on top and around him, metal maybe, and just like slicing people. I don't know what he's doing. La is cutting people in half. Switching things, removing body parts. I don't know what he's doing. I'm interested to I want to find out. At one point in time, Luffy's like, all right, we have an opening, run, we need to go run and hide, rather than continue this fight. So they go back to the guy's place, bar, and we learn his name is Rayleigh. He is the former right-hand man of Gol D Roger. And I'm just like, oh, we're getting some backstory on the former Pirate King now. So he gives us a little bit of information on the world government. They had learned the truth of the past history. I assume more about the poneglyphs as well. And ask Robin if she wants to know the truth of that blank period in time. But she's like, no, I'll figure it out on my own. I'll come to my own conclusions, do my own research, which is very admirable there. Usopp is just like, well, why don't you tell us about the One Piece? Is it real? Like, where is it? And Luffy puts his hand down. He's like, no, don't you dare tell me anything about the One Piece. Luffy is all about the adventure and the journey. He doesn't care about riches. He doesn't care about power. All he wants is fun adventure, to be free, to be with his friends and his crew. And learning about the One Piece in this way would take away that. And he said, if you tell me anything, then I will never go on an adventure again. We also learned some more about Gol D Roger, who apparently was terminally ill, and the government didn't really capture him so much as he had disbanded his crew and turned himself in. This plays into one theory that I had for him that I don't know if I mentioned in a video or if I was just talking in the comments. And also spoilers for, I think, the Vampire Diaries season 2 or 3, because that's where this theory came from. It's my little tinfoil hat theory that I had, where Gol D Roger is still alive, because there was no possible way I thought that the government would be able to capture someone so powerful they've claimed the title of Pirate King. I'm like, when I thought of this, the Navy and in general, they didn't seem like that big a threat early on in One Piece. So I'm like, how the hell did they capture the Pirate King? He must have let them capture him and faked his death. Now, I had thought he didn't actually put his treasure at One Piece. I figured he is looking for something at One Piece and couldn't find it. Therefore, he's like, well, I'm just one person looking and my one crew looking. What if I had every other pirate looking for the One Piece? And then when someone finds it, I can steal it from them. So I thought that was his plan. Now it's pretty clear that he has passed and was trying to get a message of some type out to everybody else, ushering in the new age of pirates, maybe so someone overthrows the government because he wouldn't live long enough to do it. Not sure. Shanks is brought up again, as well as Buggy, as being his apprentice, and that fits into my thoughts of Shanks learning something from Gol D Roger, possibly stuff about the blank period, possibly stuff about the poneglyphs, possibly stuff about the will of D, and was actively searching out Luffy in the East Blue, which explains why an Emperor of the Sea, apparently, was in the small, little, cozy village Luffy was in. So that fits. Rayleigh agrees to coat the ship, and it's going to take them a couple days, so, like, hang out, lay low, I'll see you in, like, 3-4 days, or whatever. And this is the point in the chapter arc where everything just goes to hell, and I don't know what I thought, but whoever previously held the title of World's Coolest Entrance needs to hand it over to this man. I'm not sure if I'm going to pronounce it right, Kizaru. He rides in to this island on a cannonball, and just explosion, and he's just there, like, I've arrived. I love this man. I'm terrified of this man. No one is, like, they're attacking him, and no one can land a hit. And when they can land a hit, and it looks like they landed a good one, he just, like, bursts into light and then reforms. He's unstoppable, and I love this because, like I said, originally in One Piece, like the early arcs of it, the Marines were kind of barely a threat, so I appreciate a lot that now that we're, like, into the Vice Admirals and Admirals and all that, they are legit terrifying, competent, powerful, and not to be taken lightly. In a lot of other anime and manga, I felt like part of the problem was the main characters getting and finding whoever they were after. They were strong enough to take them in a one-on-one fight, it felt like, or a group fight, but the bad guys were, like, tricky or in hiding, or there was a lot of obstacles to get to them, that kind of thing. But it didn't really seem like a skill issue. Here, it's very clear to me that I don't actually think any of the Straw Hats could take out an admiral on their own, or even as a group. They are a legit threat. So this Kizaru goes after the pirates there. The one I kind of like, Hawkins, ends up getting beat very badly, and Kuma shows up, and it is just an entire mess. Someone transforms into a dinosaur. That's not enough to stop them. It's a lot of chaos in these chapters. Back with the Straw Hats at a different location, you have them fighting the Kuma guy again, except yet. So they're fighting him, and it's taking everything they have. They're Luffy and Zoro and Sanji, even Nami and Usopp and Brook and Frankie, all of them are putting their all and working together to take him down. And they finally get him off balance enough, and he falls. This man, Kuma, has been shooting, like, light beams at them, which was a different technique than before, and they are spent, completely spent. And it's revealed that he is not the same one who fought them in Thriller Bark. He's, like, PX1 or something like that, even though in the manga I was reading it said, like, PX4, so I don't know if that's a mistranslation or if it's a clue or what the hell, but then this other man shows up. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce his name because I didn't even write it down yet. And they're like, what? We're exhausted. How are we supposed to fight him? What do we do? And then the real Kuma shows up. And I'm like, they're exhausted. They can't fight him. What do? Luffy gives the order to, like, run away. We can't do this anymore. We've tried. We fought. Just run. Get away. Who the hell wrote this? What was Oda? I don't know what Oda was thinking other than, let me traumatize my readers right now. And I pray to God that this was not before a long break when the manga was coming out, because as they're fighting, Kuma at one point uses his pawpaw thing and hits Zoro, and he's just gone. He's poof, gone. He's been erased. But it's implied sent, teleported somewhere else. And I'm like, eh? And then they're working together to try to get everyone away. And Sanji sacrifices himself to let Usopp and Brook and them get away, and Nami and all them. He gets erased. And then, one by one, all of them gone. Luffy is just screaming, everyone get away, run, no. And then I am heartbroken when Nami's taken. And then, one by one, I think Robin might have been the last one, Luffy witnesses every single member of his crew, his friends, his family, just gone, erased in front of his eyes. And there's nothing he can do to stop them. He's failed at protecting the people he loves most in this world. And it is heartbreaking. He is in tears. He's inconsolable, sobbing and in pain after witnessing this. This has to be like his lowest point. Kuma comes, and then he erases Luffy. And the other guy who showed up earlier, at one point, is just like, why are you choosing to do this? And Rayleigh's like, you expect me to believe you're the real Kuma at one point in time, indicating that there's some kind of history between them. I don't know if it was former shipmates. I don't know if it was rivals. I don't know, but there was something there, and he's not sure he's the real one or if he's another copy like the other PX1 was. And Kuma's just like, take your own decisions. I'm putting myself at risk, or I'm putting my position at risk by doing this. So I'm really heavily leaning forward that this guy's a double agent of some type. I don't know if he wanted to keep Luffy and them away from the New World and away from Dragon, and hence why he was erasing them. Or if he was just, this is the only way I can get them away from these other government admirals and agents and all that. I don't know. I'm going to need, like, therapy by the time I'm done this One Piece manga by the end of it, because it just keeps getting more heartbreaking, and I don't know what to say. I did forget to mention earlier, my complaint of Thriller Bark was that Kuma was acting odd, like disobeying government orders, because the government had ordered him to kill everyone on the island, so word didn't get out that another warlord had fallen to Luffy and the Straw Hats. But rather than that, he had just kind of tested Zoro, put all the pain Luffy had, and didn't kill Luffy or anyone else, even though, again, his orders were to just destroy everybody, and he clearly could have. This arc also opens with him reporting to the government and being just like, hey, the government agents guy is just like, hey, Navy guy, why didn't you follow orders? What was wrong with you? Explain yourself. And Kuma's just like, yeah, I disobeyed. I didn't do what you said. What's your point? He doesn't give an explanation, so I don't know why. And meanwhile, Garp's just there, Luffy's grandpa, being like, haha, that's my grandson for you. I don't know. And we get another reminder in this arc that Ace has been taken, captured after his fight with Blackbeard, and he's going to be executed, which is going to start a war with Whitebeard. And I'm still waiting for Luffy to find this out. I don't know where Luffy and the Straw Hats are now. I don't know what's going to happen to the Thousand Sunnies. We are not losing another ship, so that the ship is fine, has to be fine, and work is getting in the way and extra shifts, which means I can't just keep reading all this like I would like to, and it's very annoying because I need to know what happens next. So I will talk to you later.